Okay, it's 9 o'clock. I call this meeting to order. Ms. Fazzoni, please call roll.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Tedmer?
Yes, ma'am. Today's invocation is led by Pastor Raymond Duvall, Beachside Fellowship Church. Please stand.
Let's pray together. Father, as always, we're so grateful that we have the privilege of living and working here in Panama City Beach. And as we come together today, we remember what you said and what our motto says here, "In God we trust." So we put our trust in you. Your word also tells us, Lord, that if we need wisdom to ask you, and you'd give it to us abundantly. So I'm asking for wisdom, Lord, for this council, Lord God, for the members of the city staff. Especially, Lord God, I'm asking you for wisdom and protection for our first responders, Lord, as we move forward into spring break. Lord, I thank you for revealing in advance any plans of the enemy to disrupt spring break. You said if we asked you that you'd show us. So, Father, I thank you for showing those in the police department and all those that help, Lord, what's planned, Lord, that it may be cut off in advance. And, Father, I ask that you would bless all those visit this year, Lord, that they would have peace, and there would be strength given to those of us that are here in the community to have patience as well. And Father, God, and direct this meeting. Use us for your glory. And we give you the praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please join Vice Mayor Jarman for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we now move on to the community announcements. From Friday, February 27th through Monday, March 2nd, there's Cirque Italia. That's at Frank Brown Park. Then at the same time, on Saturday, February 28th, there's Cirque Under the Stars at Aaron Besant Park. From Saturday, March 6th through Sunday, March 7th, there's the PCB Scottish Festival at Frank Brown Park. And again, at the same time at Aaron Besant Park, both parks are going simultaneous on this one. Saturday, March 6th through Monday, March 8th, there's the Emerald Coast Boat and Lifestyle Show, so go check out a boat and then go to the Scottish Festival. It should be a good time. Speaking of a good time, Emerald Coast Cruisin' Car Show is happening Thursday, March 12th through Saturday, March 14th. That will be at Aaron Besant. We will have a State of the City address here Tuesday, March 10th at 6 p.m. And then our next meeting is Thursday, March 12th, here at 5 p.m. So Tuesday, State of the City, Thursday, City Council meeting. That's it for the community announcements. We move on to the approval of the meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We got a motion and a second to approve. Ms. Fazzoni, please call roll.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Tedmer?
Yes, ma'am. Now we move on to the approval of the agenda and additions or deletions. Mr. Whitman.
No, sir.
Okay. Anything from the council?
Yes, I would like to add discussion for the CARES program.
Okay.
I want to ask the council some questions on that.
Okay. You want to add that? Let's add that at the end.
Yeah, that's
Three.
fine. Yeah, at the end.
Okay. CARES discussion.
Motion to approve as amended.
Second.
There's a motion to approve as amended. Ms. Fazzoni, please call roll.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Tedmer?
Yes, ma'am. We now move on to presentations. Let's do the Employee Years of Service Award first before Superintendent McQueen.
Mr. Alexander. The mayor, city council, and staff of the city of Panama City Beach extend the sincerest appreciation to Joseph Alexander for dedicated service and commitment to the city of Panama City Beach for 20 years of service. What a milestone. Thank you very much, sir.
Captain Alexander's dedication to this community and this city has been unwavering over the last 20 years. And this job, though it gives a lot, it takes a lot. And to be able to give 20 years of service the way you have is commendable and admirable. And you can't do it without family. And you have a beautiful family here, and I'd like to bring them up and get a picture with them too. Thanks, Cap.
I went too quick.
And while he's down there, let's do flood awareness.
All right, next we have a proclamation for Flood Awareness Month. All right, Mark, you're up here. All right. Whereas the city of Panama City Beach has experienced severe weather, including extreme rainfall, tropical systems, flooding in coastal and river areas, and causing damage to homes and buildings, the city of Panama City Beach is a voluntary participant in the National Flood Insurance Program, enabling residents to obtain flood insurance and supporting higher standards that reduce flood risk and property damage. Also, the reduction of loss of life and property damage can be achieved when appropriate flood preparedness, control, and mitigation measures are taken before a flood. Public education on weather hazards and flood protection is vital, and the Florida Floodplain Managers Association has designated March 9th through the 15th as Flood Awareness Week to promote preparedness, insurance, and protective measures. Now, therefore, the Panama City Beach Council hereby proclaims March 9th through 15th, 2026, as Flood Awareness Week. Thank you. Mark, thank you very much. Mel, thank you, sir. We're going to do it.
Once, it's very difficult to make a resilient community. And we receive, whether it be a wind event, a flood event, we receive those at the same time. And I appreciate the city leadership for taking the initiatives and support we get from them, because the building department, if nothing happens, that's when we succeed. And that's our goal, to not have any failures of any time to cause any loss of life or loss of property. And that's our goal. But thank you for your support.
I just also wanted to acknowledge Public Works Department. It's a team effort. We have the Building Division, Planning Division, and Public Works puts a lot of effort into maintaining a very good CRS rating that we have for the community, and we appreciate their cooperation on that. Thank you very much.
Great. All right, Mr. McQueen, could you give us an update on Bay District Schools? Putting the A back in Bay.
Putting the A back in Bay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members. Thank you for this opportunity. Mr. Whitman, thank you for the invitation to come and share as an update. I came last year to give you an update, and let me tell you, I couldn't be more excited about what I'm about to share with you that has transpired just in this past 12 months. As you know, we are putting the A back in Bay, and in that vein, we're focusing on 5 things. We're focusing first and foremost on accountability. Accountability to the citizens and to our students, and making sure that they get everything they need. Second thing we're focusing on is attendance. If you're not in school, it's going to be very difficult for you to learn. And so we have really bolstered our attendance initiative. You may have heard on the radio, we've got over 16,000 PSAs this past year encouraging parents to get their students to school. And it's working. Our attendance rates are actually up, and we're very proud of that. Third thing we're focusing on in our 5 A's to excellence is academic achievement. And academic achievement is measured in multiple different ways. It's at the individual level, at the student level, but in the aggregate in the school level. And at the school levels, I'm very proud to share with you that of the 4 schools that we have here within the city limits of Panama City Beach, they're two are A's and two are B's. We have Surfside and Hutchinson Beach that are both A's, and Arnold and Breakfast Point are both B's. Strong B's, by the way. And so we're moving. We've got strategies in place, and we firmly believe that all 4 schools will be A's very soon. The next thing we're focusing on after accountability, the attendance and academic achievement is the arts. The arts are what knits communities together. It's what enriches our lives. And certainly we've seen a lot of performances at our schools across the entire city. And the pinnacle of that is taking place at Arnold High School. And at Arnold High School, we've seen most recently the all-county band competition and performances, which were absolutely extraordinary, to be sure. It's amazing what these young musicians are doing. Certainly the performing arts, the visual arts, all of that which enriches our lives, and we see that across the entirety of our Bay District school system. And then last but not least are the athletics. Athletics is a moniker that not just for sports, but also the extracurricular activities that so enrich the lives of the education experience. In those efforts, it helps our students to understand resiliency, determination, perseverance, how to overcome loss, and how to celebrate wins. And all of those are life skills which make great young citizens for our future. I'd be glad to share with you, because this is just extraordinary when you think just on the athletic side itself. Arnold High School boys soccer state champions back-to-back 2 years in a row, 3 times in 6 years. Wow, what a powerful statement when you compare that to the caliber of competition that's out there. Arnold High School girls weightlifting won their 11th district championship in a row. Wow, incredible. Arnold baseball made first ever Final Four appearance. Our Arnold has 29 girls that are participating in the first season, the inaugural season of flag football that we just started a couple of weeks ago. Couldn't be more proud of that, and that's another way that we're extending athletic opportunities to our female students. Last year we started with beach volleyball. This year we've moved into flag football, and it's been extraordinary to see it. There's over 100 young ladies that are participating in flag football in our inaugural year. We had 16 young ladies at Arnold that are Marlins that were on the inaugural team of the beach volleyball, and we have 20 that are participating this year. Surfside volleyball won their 6th straight championship in county, and we're so proud of what they're accomplishing. Our inaugural season this past year was on our middle school cross country, and the Breakfast Point girls and the Surfside boys both won county championships. That's a clean sweep. Breakfast Point also, their girls cross country team, not only county champions, but they did that 2 years in a row. And then finally, we're extending and integrating technology into all that we're doing with regard to sports. You okay, Mr. Castro?
I'm good.
Okay, thank you.
The achievements have floored him.
Yeah, okay. But it overwhelmed you, all these achievements I'm sharing with you. So anyway, but it's really exciting to see what's going on. Let me share with you about Beach Elementary. What an incredible school that is designed, and the curriculum is made to help build leaders. And to that end, they have been a Leader in Me champion school. They just received legacy status. Only 22 in the world have reached legacy status. That's an incredible way through our BOLT program and our GOLD program and what we're doing to build leaders that are really going to be instrumental in serving this community in their later years. Lastly, I want to thank this community and certainly the city for your investment back into your schools. I just happen to be the caretaker for it, but the schools are for our citizens. To that end, the half-cent sales tax has been poured right back into all of our schools. We could not do what we're doing in getting the state-of-the-art facilities for our students without the half-cent sales tax. To that end, even just this past year, you probably have noticed the facelifts that we did both on Hutchinson Beach Elementary and at Surfside. Over $2 million to do that. We've also had total upgrade of all of the in-class technology with our ViewSonics and the computers that we have for our students. We've also done the things that are not glamorous, re-roofings, doing things that deal with HVAC systems, which are essential for creating the learning environment for our students. So I want to thank you for that. And then last but not least, I want to thank not only Mr. Whitman and his leadership as your city manager and the communications that we have all the time to help to provide supports to the schools, but also to Chief Talamentis and Chief Morgan and the team of teams that they represent. The law enforcement and fire departments go above and beyond to pour into our schools. And they are the role models that we need for so many of our students to be able to see what right looks like. And they're seeing it in your team of teams. It's an awesome responsibility when you think about over 4,000 students just inside the city limits of Panama City Beach. And we're striving to meet all of their needs from pre-K all the way through high school. I would also share with you that sort of an overarching school that meets the needs of the beach is Haney Technical College. And Haney Technical College this past year was recognized in the top 2% of over 15,000 technical colleges in the entire United States. So what is being produced to provide a trained and ready workforce to meet the needs of even indeed Panama City Beach is what we're striving to do. So it is pre-K all the way through your Haney experience. To that end, I want to thank you for your passion, your commitment, your presence in our schools. You're always there, and to that, I want to thank you for supporting Bay District Schools, and together we will put that A back in Bay. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor and Council.
All right, thank you, Mark. I mean, you guys are doing great work with the schools. I was at the band competition, I think last year. The Arnold Wind Ensemble was just beautiful.
Unbelievable.
The Bolt program and the Gold program over there at Beach. It's Boys on Leadership and
Girls on Leader Development.
on Leader Development. Great programs over there at Beach Elementary. You guys are doing a lot of, and the new paint, the new facelift looks really good.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity to present.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Okay. We now move on to Building and Planning Department update by Director Mel Leonard.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I really hate having to follow the superintendent. That was not good scheduling, I'm telling you that.
You've got your work cut out for you.
Yeah, I know it. Thanks. I'm going to be going over, of course, the building and planning portion of it, which will be this part of the flow chart. We have the building division, the business tax registration division, code enforcement, and the planning division. That's all part of the building and planning department. We have 21 employees. Right now, we have 19 that are actually working in the department. We have one that we're actually actively trying to fill right now, and then one that we'll try to fill later this year. And we'll start with the building division. This is a snapshot from the fiscal year 2025. In fact, all this information will be from 2025. That we had 37 single-family dwellings, 24 multifamily dwellings, 23 new commercial, 139 commercial renovations, 17 solar panels, and 260 roofing permits, which all totaled just shy of $300 million building valuation. It was kind of an odd year, kind of like the national economy was kind of strange, where you had some strengths in the economy and some weaknesses in it. Our single-family dwellings were quite a bit lower than what they normally are. A real good robust year for us is maybe 130 to 160 single-family dwellings. But on the other side of it, we had a lot of commercial renovations and commercial repairs and build-outs that were associated with it that were much higher than normal. So we had some segments that were really strong, stronger than normal, and other segments that were a little bit weaker. Some of it's because of the single family. You have less vacant land that's available, but also too just because interest rates were higher, people were locked into lower interest rates. Things like that were just kind of keeping it down. And then we also had a lot of development happening outside the city and the county that was actually very successful as well. So the area overall was pretty strong. Just within the city limits, we were a little bit lower on the single family, but stronger in other areas. And of course, this division has 5 total employees associated with it. Some items of note for the building division: they completed 3,656 building inspections, 45 milestone properties which affected 62 buildings. And the milestone properties are condos and cooperative buildings that are 3 stories or taller that are now, there's a state requirement since the Surfside collapsed many years ago, that once you become, in our area, 25 years old, they have to do a level 1 engineering study. And then if they find probable cause that there needs to be more investigation, it'll bump to a level 2 engineering study. And they submit all of those reports to the building division, which the building official goes over and documents all that process and coordinates with the state in making sure that they're registered. The division also disciplined 1 registered contractor through the examining board. The BSEG, which is the Building Code Effectiveness Grading Schedule, is a Class 3 for commercial and a Class 3 for residential. And nationwide, for the residential designation, 83% are worse than that score that we have of a 3. And then for the commercial rating, 69% nationwide have a worse rating than the city has. So we're pretty proud of that. And then the CRS, the Community Rating System, which is associated with the floodplain protection, which we just had the proclamation for, we have a Class 5 for that, which results in a 25% discount on flood insurance. And in the state of Florida, we have 251 communities who participate in this program. It's a voluntary program. And of that, 85% have a score worse than what the city has. And then the division averaged 2 stop work orders a month. We'll move to the planning division. The map that's displayed there with the dots on it is a development order map that's available on our website. If you go to the planning division page and then informational materials, you'll see a development order map. All the green dots will represent, and there's a key on there that people can see when they go on there. And you can actually click on each dot, and it'll give you information, the square footage, what the development is, when it was approved, or where it is in review. And all the green dots represent ones that have been approved. The purple are ones that are under review right now. And if there's any orange dots on there, you'll see that it was something that was denied. And some of the developments that are currently being reviewed, of course, is the Alvin's Island at Alf Coleman, which is going to be at the site of the old Alvin's Island that's at Alf Coleman. The Moby Dick souvenir store, which at the end of Jackson Boulevard was the old Burger King. We have the police substation, which is currently being reviewed by the Florida Department of Emergency Management. It has to go through that process before it can move forward, but that's supposed to be at the Churchwell parking lot. The racetrack gas station is near the powder room at Griffin Boulevard. Then we also have the Ready Mix Use USA CMEX concrete plant that's at the west end of the Commerce Park. And then another one that's notable is the Shell Point Beach and Surf Club, which is being reviewed. It's on Hills Road, being adjacent to the Top Golf. Also associated with the planning division is the planning board. The planning division is staffed to the tree board, planning board, and also the public arts committee. And we have Chairman Josh Wagstein, Vice Chair Jason Morehouse, Zach Coleman, Tucker Painter, Chris Bishop, Grant Wistruck, and Michael Thomas. That's a very strong board. And just as a reminder, they listen to variances, rezonings, annexations, appeals, large site developments. They act as the tree board, and they consider amendments to the land development code and the comprehensive plan. So they always have a pretty full plate. Moving on to code enforcement. We have 7 total employees in code enforcement. We have 3 officers that are assigned to the Sandy Beach and then 2 who are assigned to the neighborhoods. They're interchangeable, though, if there's a need, if there's double red flags, if there's large crowds down on the beach that needs more code enforcement, we will pull one or both of the officers in the neighborhoods to help out with the beach, and vice versa. If we have neighborhood issues and we're able to spare someone down on the Sandy Beach, we will also move them to take care of that as well. Some of the things that the Code Enforcement Division's been handling, the neighborhood side of it, of course, they run into litter and trash, vehicles, tall grass fences, detrimental conditions, right-of-way issues, building maintenance, and they also part of the special event process. In the Sandy Beach portion of the Code Enforcement, they deal with vendor solicitors, double red flags, dogs, holes, glass on the beach, assist with other agencies, beach safety, turtle wildlife, special events, and also business taxes. That part of it, we have an officer that's dedicated to helping out the business tax receipt division, tracking down those folks, mostly short-term rental owners who aren't submitting their 1%. And also in this division, they initiated 1,644 cases, issued 390 civil citations and 327 warnings. They played a key role in resolving 108 delinquent business tax issues, assisted other agencies on the Sandy Beach 48 times, which included lost children, medical calls, wildlife concerns, and double red flags, addressed 88 broken down vehicles and 84 unpermitted business signs, banners, and flags. And the importance on the 88 broken down vehicles was a movement from the city council that wanted some more look at that issue and to tackle it, and that was the result of it so far, and they're staying on top of it. They assisted with the safe release of cold-stunned turtles and responded to countless injured and entangled shorebirds and sea turtles, obtained 119 hours of continuing education for ATV instructor, ATV course, and officer safety certifications, and participated in the Citizens Academy and city community events. Then moving to the business tax division, we have monthly submittals, which they're submitting for their 1%, and then we also have annual businesses. Depending on their classification, people will pay an annual fee and not have to submit monthly. For the monthly gross sales remittance, we have 37 hotels that submit monthly, 210 restaurants, a little over 10,000 short-term rentals, 541 merchant gross sales, which include retail, wholesale, and e-commerce platforms. The annual business registrations, which is just the one-time annual payment, is 312 contractors, 201 insurance agents, and 559 other, and you see them listed down there at the bottom. As of November of 2025, the city had a total of 12,686 active business tax receipts on record, with 72% representing transient rentals. The city recorded a little over $20 million in total business tax receipt revenue for 2025, and the city registered 2,161 business tax receipts and closed 807, and most of those are associated with transient rentals. When you see that business tax is closed, and that number, it's not people or businesses going out of business or anything, it's people who are changing ownership of a short-term rental, maybe they're changing the management company, and that ends up being a closeout and then a new one being assigned to it. And the city averages 108 new registrations and 67 account closures per month. And you see on the left the breakdown of the little over 20 million, that the three big items that kind of bring in the most money is merchant sales, transient rentals, and restaurant. That's the heavy lift on most of the money that comes in. And throughout 2025, the Business Tax Division issued business tax receipts to several restaurants and amusements that totaled almost $250,000 in 1% business collections. And that is it.
Well, I will say that planning board, they do a lot of work. As a volunteer board, they do not get compensated. And what they sent to us has already kind of been through the ringer. They deal with a lot of public comment. They do a great job over there. And code enforcement gets it on both sides, from people who don't want code enforcement to come to them, or why aren't you doing more code enforcement? So that's a tough job as well, and you guys are really doing a wonderful job over there.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Okay, we now move on to public comment on the consent agenda and non-agenda business. Public comment on consent agenda, non-agenda business. Any public comment?
Thank you. Jim Vickery, 17135 Front Beach Road, beachside townhouses at the end of the new roundabout. We're just here again at our last time we were here, the city attorney had requested we send him information that we had in regard to the work that CWR had done and the damage they had done to our wall. And we were just kind of wanting to follow up to see if anything had been done. CWR previously had sent us a letter where they were wanting us to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and also agreement stating that they were no longer responsible for anything that happened to the wall. So we're just kind of digging ditches to find out if we can get some help to get the wall repaired, because CWR doesn't seem like they're acting very good in faith for us. We hadn't heard a word from them since the letter that all 19 people received, which you're not gonna get 19 people to sign anything. Plus, nobody's gonna sign the non-disclosure or the indemnifying them from any other issues with the wall.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Further public comment on consent or non-agenda business? Expect you to be cycling up here.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, council members. Thanks for having me. I'm Ben Rouse. My address is 18 Ridgewood Avenue in Guilford, New Hampshire. So I am the race director for the Visit Panama City Beach Ironman Florida and the Visit Panama City Beach Ironman 70.3 Gulf Coast race. I'm down here for a site visit. Customary for me to come down every quarter and see what's going on in town so I can plan accordingly, working with all the agencies. And I just wanted to thank the council, all its members, city manager, Ms. Lynn, that takes a lot from me. I really appreciate the community's support and the continued support for the event. Gulf Coast event coming up in May, on May 9th, is in its 44th year in the community, and we're proud residents of it, and we hope to continue this long relationship. We didn't have the greatest year last year. We had a canceled swim and a short run, but we really made it work very well. Everybody was safe and everybody went home, so everything was a very good thing there. On another note, for November, it's quite a ways away, but I just came from our conference about a couple weeks ago, and as luck would have it, or not luck, with good planning and good execution, our event was rated in the top 10 worldwide. It was the only North America race mentioned. So, we're really proud of that, the community and the relationship we've had. We're able to switch and change and correct anything that that presents its problems. But just really wanted to say thank you for everybody here at the TDC, at the city, at the county, every member. We work with all the agencies to make sure we're having a good, solid plan, and looking forward to the 44th year in May. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, further public comment on consent or non-agenda? Further public comment? Okay, seeing none. Mr. Davis, can you speak to what's going on at Beachside?
Yes, sir. So the first email I got from Beachside, I spoke to them in November when they came and spoke here, asked them to send me some information. There may have been a miscommunication. I didn't get an email until January 21st, and it alluded to an original email. I asked for that original email that I didn't get, and then I got that original email on February 20th, and I'm reviewing that now. So that's in the process. I think there was just some sort of communication gap between myself and the owners there, but we're looking at it.
Okay, and what's the process? So the claim is their wall their claim is the wall was damaged by C.W. Roberts.
Yes,
what's
sir.
What's the process, and how is the city involved in that?
Because I haven't fully reviewed, they made a claim that they reached out to the city. The city, I believe, directed them to the contractor. They've made a claim with the contractor. I don't believe they're satisfied with the result of that claim, and they want us to take a second look to make sure that they're being treated fairly, which is what I've told them I would do and intend to do.
All right. Can you prioritize getting back to them on that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Mr. Whitman, is there anything?
No, sir.
Okay, yeah, for Ben, it's a top 10 worldwide great event. It just needs to continue to adjust to the reality that we're a very busy beach. So minimal impact is absolutely necessary on that. Okay, we now move on to unless there's comments from council, we now move on to the consent agenda. Ms. Fazzoni.
Resolution 2680, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving the purchase of one 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 2500 truck for the fire department from Garber Chevrolet Buick GMC, Inc., in the total amount of $57,914, and agreeing to be bound by the terms and conditions of the Florida Sheriff's Association agreement governing that purchase. Resolution 2681, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving the purchase of firefighter turnout gear for the fire department from North American Fire Equipment Company in the total amount of $51,380.52, and agreeing to be bound by the terms and conditions of the League of Oregon Cities Master Price Agreement governing that purchase. Resolution 2682, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving the purchase of 3 Lucas chest compression systems and related accessories for the fire department from Stryker Sales LLC in the total amount of $56,900.52, and agreeing to be bound by the terms and conditions of the State of Oklahoma NASPRO Value Point Master Agreement governing that purchase. Resolution 2683, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving the purchase of 2 2026 Ford F-150 regular cab trucks, 1 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 crew cab truck, 2 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 regular cab truck, and 2 2026 Ford Ranger Super Crew trucks for the Utilities Department from Allen J. Fleet Sales in the total amount of $283,828, and agreeing to be bound by the terms and conditions of the City of Tallahassee agreement governing that purchase. Resolution 2684, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving the purchase of 2 2026 Ford F-250 trucks for the Utilities Department from Garber Ford, Inc., in the total amount of $122,962, and agreeing to be bound by the terms and conditions of the Florida Sheriff's Association agreement governing that purchase. And item 6, revision of the master audit list to remove obsolete items.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Ms. Vizzoni, please call roll.
Vice Mayor Jarman.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn.
Yes.
Councilman Register.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer.
Yes, ma'am. We now move on to the regular agenda. The first item, J1 on the regular agenda, is ordinance number 1674. Mr. Davis.
An ordinance of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, temporarily closing a portion of the Sandy Gulf Beach from the hours of 10 p.m. to 4 a.m., providing penalties for violation of this ordinance, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Okay. We have any public comment on ordinance 1674? Any public comment? Okay. Seeing none, Chief, can you help us understand what's going on with 1674?
Morning, Mayor Council. This is a request that aligns with our spring break operational plan that we've had over several years. These areas of the beach that we're requesting to be closed between March 12th and April 30th for the hours of 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. are areas of the beach that we see large unruly crowds gather on a frequent basis. This then requires our officers to have to stage that and staff that area, which in turn provides less adequate public safety resources to be dispersed around the rest of the city. So by closing this beach, it allows us to spread our officers out far more and providing a full picture public safety deployment strategy for the entire city instead of just focusing on one area or 2 areas of the beach. And the 2 areas of the beach are outlined, as you can see right there, on the east end of the beach. By Pineapple Willie's and Long Beach Resort. I'm just trying to get the exact. So the closure is going to be between Beach Access 36 and Beach Access 25. So basically, it's on the west side of Churchwell, or right at Churchwell Drive, and and it will stop just to the west side of Boardwalk Beach Motel. And on the west end, it is the entire beach stretch of the city-owned beach to include the Calypso condominiums, which they requested to be included into the beach closure because they see the positive public safety atmosphere it creates.
Okay. Yeah, so this is part of the multi-layered strategy we've done for several years, including the HIP now for spring break. We've got support for everyone involved, helps focus resources, keeps the beach clear from issues. Anything you'd like to say in addition, Chief?
No, we found it to be effective, and that's why we're requesting that you approve this ordinance today so we could wrap up our operational plan and get to work.
Okay.
Thanks, Chief. Chief, is 10 p.m. early enough?
It is, especially in regards to the HIP, with the 8 p.m. curfew for minors. It allows us that 2-hour buffer to sort of get the area clear instead of having mass sort of a mass push off the beach. We found that time to be adequate, yes.
Good. Okay. Great question. Okay. Seeing no commentary from the council, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion to approve and a second. Ms. Fazzoni, please call roll.
Vice Mayor Darman.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Castro.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn.
Yes.
Councilman Register.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer.
Yes, ma'am. We now move on to regular agenda item number 2, a resolution 2685. Mr. Davis.
A resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving a utility infrastructure completion agreement with the Sage-Owned Company for the design and construction of water distribution and wastewater collection infrastructure in the city's western franchise area.
Okay. Any public comment on this item? Any public comment on this item? Seeing none, since this is both a legal and a utilities agreement, Mr. Davis, can you tee us off with, help us understand the legal portion of it?
Certainly. So for many years, the city has engaged in a program that we call the Revenue Certificate Program, which is just a lawyer word for when you build utility infrastructure to connect your property, but it also serves other properties. We allow you to collect some of your costs back via the impact fees that are paid to connect to your infrastructure. So that's been a long-standing program that we've had for as long as I've been around and longer than that.
And so the goal of that program is private developers build this infrastructure and they get some compensation back.
Correct, and ultimately that infrastructure becomes the city's, as part of the city's utility system, so it ultimately, is a benefit to the city. And
we have strict requirements on the developers building that infrastructure, is that correct?
Correct, yeah, so obviously, and Mr. Schaefer can speak to this more, but the city oversees, obviously, the design, the engineering, and the construction of this infrastructure to make sure it conforms with what the city is willing to accept, since we take on the maintenance responsibility after it's built, and so we make sure that it is built exactly how we like it to be built so we can maintain it in uniformity with the rest of our system. So several months ago, the St. Joe Company approached staff about a plan to build a much, much larger infrastructure than what we typically see in a revenue certificate. This is, and I would ask maybe if IT can pull the map up that's an exhibit to the resolution.
IT, can you pull that map up?
This goes all the way essentially from Highway 79 to the county line on the north side of Highway 98. It is a multi-million-dollar infrastructure commitment. And so what we worked through with staff and with the St. Joe Company staff is an agreement that would make sense both from a public and private benefit. This is essentially a public-private partnership wherein the St. Joe Company is going to build the infrastructure that spans essentially the entire western franchise area of the city, and they will be able to get reimbursed on impact fees collected on connections to that infrastructure. Ultimately, one of the really great benefits that we were able to negotiate in this deal is that they are going to build a larger project than what they actually need to serve the entire community's needs at their cost, and they will simply, again, be able to recoup that through impact fees collected, but the risk is entirely on the company to build it. And they only get paid once impact fees are collected, which is, quite frankly, sometime down the road. We have also limited the number of connections that they can make in a given year to make sure that we are planning accordingly to handle connections onto that line. And then lastly, as the council knows well, we have been working for some time on a redundant infrastructure that will kind of loop around the conservation park from, Campside Road to Kelly Street. Side Camp Road, sorry. And one of the things that the St. Joe Company is agreeing to in this agreement is to provide an easement of land that will accommodate the construction of that line. So essentially, that's free land that we normally would have to spend a lot of money on to build this line that they are giving us as part of this agreement. So it's a lot of hard work on staff side, for both sides, and I think it's a win-win for the city and for the company.
So is there one easement or two easements? There's the easement for the proposed line, and there's is there additional easement for the top line as well?
Yeah, for the water redundancy line, we'll have two easements, one for the main trunk line they're building, and then the water redundancy there to come off side camp.
Correct.
Okay. And so the kind of trade-off here, as I understand it, is we get upsizing of pipe. So normally a developer would just build for what they needed. And if we wanted it to be upsized, they would charge us. And that would come out of the utilities fund, impact fees, or payments from ratepayers from the entire franchise area. So we get that upsizing as part of this deal. We get easements, not just for the developed line, but for a future city line, which we've been focused on water redundancy in this council particularly. So that's a benefit for the city. And in return, they get a higher percentage of the impact fees back.
Correct. So they get full reimbursement of their impact fee, so they'll get 100% of the impact fee collected until they are paid back. They don't get a surplus. So at the point in which, and of course, we have to agree to what their cost is and what their impact fee credit is going to be. But they get, when an impact fee is collected on the line that connects to the line that they built, they will get reimbursed from that impact fee to the extent of their actual cost that we agree upon.
Okay. So, yeah, so we make sure that there's no inflation of costs. We get control there. And we also get the developer agrees to a set amount of builds per year.
Correct.
So they're entitled to just continue to build and build and build. Part of this agreement, they agree they're going to only build, 250 at most a year?
Yes, sir.
And so we're getting should this agreement be approved, the city would be essentially getting a zero interest loan paid back by impact fees with no accommodation for inflation.
Correct. And I mean, and I think the thing that maybe we're also missing is that we also get the infrastructure at the end of the
And we get the infrastructure.
We get the infrastructure, and it's a lot faster than what we could ever do it.
We get the title to the actual improvements that they built. So that's also very helpful because those ratepayers pay to the utility system.
Okay. So since we just discussed the infrastructure, Mr. Schaefer, can you talk about this infrastructure? Thank you, Mr. Davis. Unless someone has a question for Mr. Davis, move over to Mark.
I had a couple, but go ahead, Mark.
As part of this, St. Joe was agreed in concept to explore us using the wetlands that they have set aside for conservation, getting those permitted for receiving reclaimed water as well, because that capacity is also a limitation on our treatment capacity, is how much reclaimed water we can use or apply to wetlands when we have rainy events and people aren't using reclaimed water.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah, pretty much the infrastructure, as they described, they're basically going to extend force main and water main on the Philip Griffiths Parkway extension, which is the dark green line. I don't know how well our guests can see it, but it pretty much runs the westward projection of Philip Griffiths Parkway as it currently exists, and that'll be the main utility corridor. We are working with St. Joe to find some connection points, so we have some looping there instead of just a long branch on our system. Down through, hopefully through Wild Heron area or somewhere out in the west end on the water line. That would give us a looped system. If you can complete it in your mind, it goes out the Philip Griffiths Parkway extension south to Back Beach Road and then ties back into our water main there. So you have an alternate way of getting water out to the west end. And that would improve pressures out on our very west end of our system. And then as Mr. Davis also indicated, they're going to work with us to provide easements that we need to go from Side Camp Road all the way around Conservation Park and tie back into that line and eventually into Front Beach Road with a large diameter line, conceptually 30 or 36 inches, that would provide us an alternate water input into the west end of our system. Had we had that main, this work we did this past week, we wouldn't have had any interruptions of service because we could have valved off 79 and now had this nice loop feeding into the west end of our system.
And so the upsizing, my understanding is what they would need for their plans was something around 24 inches, and they're upsizing to 36?
It telescopes as it goes westward, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
But the water line is going to be upsized. The Philip Griffiths Parkway water line would be upsized for our needs. I think it's currently a 16-inch, maybe. I'd have to look. But what we have in that area may need a 24-inch line. We're going to be confirming all this through modeling, water modeling.
Okay.
Is it going to be ductile or PVC?
Depends on the price point. When we take bids, we'll bid both.
Or are you going to put both of them on one side of the road, or you can put one on one side, one on the other, or do you know that?
Generally, we try to keep potable water on one side of the road, sanitary sewer, and reclaimed water on the other side because of separation requirements required under state.
But when we do, if we do build a ground storage tank on the west end for more storage, like during Hurricane Michael, we almost
Yes.
ran out of water. This new line would fill those tanks on the west end, is that right?
The tank site would be somewhere fairly close to State Road 79 on Side Camp Road. It would work in tandem with our current West Bay pump station.
Okay.
They would be able to move water
Right.
back and forth.
But we would get more storage.
More storage.
capacity.
And St. Joe has been working with us to provide a site for that as well.
And the way, Cole, the way this is set up, the St. Joe Company, they can't make a profit on this. This is like a 50-year contract payback. They could get all their money back, but they couldn't make a profit off of this. Is that right?
Correct. So if impact fees are collected greater than what they paid, that surplus goes to the city. And if not enough impact fees are collected to pay for their cost, that shortfall isn't covered by anyone. They bear the risk on both sides.
That's right.
So the upside is to the city, the downside is to the St. Joe Company.
I see it as a win-win for the city. I really do.
It's major infrastructure we would have to bond
pay
out,
itself.
pay
That's
for.
right. That's right.
Wait for impact fees to cover. I mean, it's a way to master plan an important part of city infrastructure into the future.
It's a lot of heavy lifting that we don't have to do.
Yeah. Well, Mark-
Motion to approve.
Well,
Second.
1 second.
Oh.
Mark, I really appreciate
Thank you.
your work on this. I know there's a lot of engineering on our side to see if we can make this work, and Mr. Davis as well. There's a lot of legal work on this, so really appreciate you both
But-
of your work on this.
It's really my department staff. I'm more of just a player here.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Mark.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, we have a motion.
Just 1 second.
Okay, we have further
am
discussion.
employed by the company that directly benefits from this resolution, so I have filed my memo with the clerk, so I have a voting conflict, so I'll be abstaining from this vote.
All right.
Okay. With all that out of the way?
Vice Mayor Dermott?
Did we get a second?
Yes,
Oh,
we did.
yeah,
Vice
you got a
Mayor
second.
did the motion, and Councilman
hear
Castro
that.
Castro seconded.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Castro?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
He does.
He's
Abstaining.
abstained,
Council, Mayor Tedder?
Yes, ma'am. So, a lot of infrastructure.
Oh, yeah.
I would also like to thank St. Joe for their work on this.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a huge commitment to the city.
It's a big lift, and it's a lot of risk on their part. Okay, now we move on to the CARES discussion.
Yeah.
This is just council's discussion, so normally we wouldn't do a public commentary on that, so
Yeah, that's fine.
we'll abstain. And if you, just 1 second, Vice Mayor. Mr. Davis, if you could remind us about what the CARES program is?
Certainly. So the CARES program, as we discussed at the last meeting, the HIP ordinance directed staff to develop a program by which there were incentives for businesses to go above and beyond what the high impact period ordinance required. And so we have worked with, and that program exists in conjunction with the CVB, the Panama City Beach Convention and Visitors Bureau. So over the last couple months, working with public safety staff, working with the CVB, we started to work together a framework of the different incentives that could be offered and the different additional measures that businesses could take to qualify for the program. We had a fairly robust discussion about this at the last meeting. The council's direction at that time was to essentially meet with stakeholders, get their feedback, and kind of slowly develop a program over the season. Probably come back to you guys. I believe it was July was the direction. Is when to come back with you, and that's where I believe it sits as of last meeting.
Okay.
All right. My thing was, I know that staff had come up with a robust guidelines for the CARES program, and I just wanted to allow the council to direct staff a little more succinctly in getting that document, that information that they had prepared already to stakeholders for their review and for interaction. The last meeting, I felt like we didn't really address what staff had already done. So that's why I didn't want there to be any ambiguity and transparency as far as what's been done already, and that we can get direction to staff to get that to the stakeholders for review and get that train rolling a little faster so that we can try and possibly start up a pilot program on that. Also, I just wanted to also get council's opinion on, for me, I'd like it just to be lodging facilities and bars. And if we can come to an agreement on that, it will help staff determine more succinctly what stakeholders they need to approach. Because I think those are the only two places that really we have a carrot for in joining this program. Now, I feel like anybody can join it if they want to, but as far as stakeholders and who we're really directing this CARES program to, I think lodging facilities and the bar establishments.
So by bars, do you mean alcohol selling establishments, which would include restaurants?
I don't think we really
know that we have a solid, I think we were just, when we did the high impact period, we just said alcohol selling establishments to avoid trying to slice the distinction between a bar and a restaurant.
Okay.
So if I recall, we talked about restaurants, or well, alcohol selling establishments, hotel, motels, STR complexes, outdoor malls, and other categories as suggested.
Right.
So did you want to remove outdoor malls from
I would say, yeah. I think for us in the CARES program, the main places that we're looking at are lodging and alcohol establishments.
So you don't want Pier Park and Shops at Edgewater to potentially be part of?
I don't know what the benefit, we offer a carrot with this program, and I want to keep it as narrow and concise as I possibly can. If you want every business in Pier Park or whatever, and then we have to TDC is going to have to specialize marketing for each business in Pier Park. I'm trying to just keep it focused to the areas that police department and public safety really need cooperation on.
I think Pier Park brings up a unique example because our relationship with Simon, so we can probably directly benefit Simon as a whole in promoting Pier Park as more of a destination. So I'm not sure about Shops at Edgewater or what that looks like, but I think Pier Park could be carved out as a special district, potentially for the CARES program, and working with Simon would be, we have a great relationship with Simon, we work directly with them, we worked hard to put together Pier Park in general. That's where some of the problems have existed. And the idea of this whole program is to alleviate the burden on our resources.
Right.
And I think there's a heavy burden. I think both of our chiefs in the back of the room would agree with it. There's a heavy burden that Pier Park carries. So if we could try to get them involved on higher safety standards created by the CARES program on a year-round basis, I think that definitely benefits the safety and security of our city.
All right.
So how would it work if you had a strip mall that had one bar or alcohol selling establishment in there? Would the whole strip mall have to contribute for the extra security and extra lighting and all the stuff this CARES program is going to provide, or would it just be that bar that has to do that?
I think that's where it gets super complex, and that's why,
Yeah.
Simon has the whole thing. They're the ones operating that specific. That's where I think Pier Park can be carved out. I think Shops at Edgewater could be more difficult. I think other strip malls could be more difficult. But I do agree on the lodging establishments. Cole or Mr. Davis, is there a direct correlation with the state what delegates a bar versus a restaurant that we could look at to?
So what we used for the high impact period was alcohol selling establishments that serve alcohol after 10 p.m.
Sure.
for on-site consumption. That seemed to be the nice bright line. If you are a restaurant that serves alcohol after 10 p.m., the use is the same as if you are a bar serving alcohol after 10 p.m. So we didn't really look the distinction of how you market
How you
yourself or
classify.
advertise yourself.
Sure.
it doesn't matter to us, it's what you're doing after 10 PM that, from talking to the, as you can see with the beach closure, that's kind of where things, you know, as my parents would say, all the decent people are in bed by then.
But I'm definitely with Vice Mayor Jarman about getting it out to the stakeholders, because I think we need feedback, you know, what that looks like and what.
And I'm trying to just narrow down who those stakeholders are for staff.
Yeah, let's take it one at a time then. There was a memo developed by staff, getting that out as part of negotiations. You want to just make a motion on that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I motion that staff take the existing documentation and work that they've done and get that out to stakeholders as determined shortly, hopefully, for feedback.
Okay.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Ms. Fazzoni?
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So now the second topic you had was trying to narrow it down. You know, I will say I understand trying to keep it narrow. We have places that have large amounts of parking that are destinations in themselves. I mean, Shops at Edgewater used to be a destination in itself. It still is. Pier Park is a destination in itself. It still is. We have a new development adjacent to Pier Park that maybe want to be part of the CARES program as well, with Top Golf, potential surf park going. So if we just say Pier Park rather than say large outdoor malls or shopping complexes, we are really limiting the scope. In my opinion, unnecessarily limiting the scope. They are, especially with the parking facilities, we know that large parking facilities can be challenging, right? So I agree that, you know, maybe ones and twos within a shopping complex, and it depending on how a shopping complex is administered, the owner, but I would want to allow staff to work through those possibilities. And if it ends up just being something like a Pier Park that staff thinks we can make this program beneficial for, that's great, but I wouldn't want to tie, I take the point that we want to keep it narrow. I just think that large outdoor, because there's already such a destination and there's such an impact, particularly with the parking, I think they should be included.
I was just going to say one solution might be to offer the CARES program to any large facility such as Pier Park, such as Walmart, that are in the HIP areas.
But the HIP areas are declared by resolution or by emergency, so.
Right.
And the anticipation of CARES is we discussed it potentially being a standard year-round and a separate standard in HIP. So they would, and the potential for it being a annual enrollment. So if a Walmart or something doesn't know, they wouldn't have been enrolled. And then, the goal is to kind of, or at least my impression of CARES, the goal is to kind of raise the bar, right? For the entire city year-round. And then whether the new requirements come in or there are stage requirements, that's something that we don't want to, we want staff to take a pass at before we sit here and discuss it. So, I will just say I'm in favor of keeping large shopping complexes as a potential first staff. That doesn't mean it will come into the final form, we see it.
Right.
But I would be in favor of keeping large shopping complexes in here. They present unique public safety challenges. They are destinations in and of themselves for many of our visitors.
We talked about this being voluntary. Now it sounds like this is going to be mandatory once it's in place.
It's still voluntary, I would imagine.
Still voluntary.
Yeah, this is voluntary.
Yeah.
So why does it really matter? If it's
Well, one of the concerns is obviously in a program such as this, you're going to have people keep track of it. And if we don't have any type of concise, definitive approach to who we want to be in the CARES program, and we end up just having a bunch of people in the CARES program, then that's going to be a burden on the city of trying to keep track of who's doing what and how they're doing it. And I'm just trying to narrow that focus so that it's more effective.
Yeah, I mean, so alcohol selling establishments, lodging providers, and then I'm still
With shopping complexes.
Yeah, a large outdoor or these large shopping complexes. Large can be defined in a way that
Like
makes
parking spaces.
Yeah, but
Can we talk about what additional services they're going to need to provide roughly? This is security, more lighting, what are the different?
Off the top of my head, yes, it's primarily focused on cooperation with law enforcement, additional security both in the business and in the parking lots, lighting the parking lots. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Integration of the video.
Cameras, yeah.
Linking their security cameras with our system.
There's just 3 or 4 additional items then, basically then.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, it's, obviously you have to approve that. I mean,
Right.
we've been sketching ideas, but you guys haven't approved any of the stuff yet, so.
Yeah. But those are
Yes.
the main items.
well, I mean, things like, especially during HIP, potential multi-day requirement for stays.
Right.
So there are a few things that public safety and just general industry best practice has identified as ways to keep a community attractive and safe.
So if I'm a business and I agree to this CARES program and I don't do it, then I'm going to be subject to some type of penalty?
Well,
No,
when we get to that point and make that decision and vote on that, then quite possibly, yes.
Well, so CARES is imagined as a voluntary program. It's going above the minimum standard. There are certain standards that we as a council, due to state statute, would not be able to do anyway. So we're offering a voluntary program to say, hey, you're a business that really cares about your customers and the future of this beach. You will get some benefits to that. We're not gonna mandate that. So
What are their benefits gonna be?
That's all got to be decided in partnership with the TDC from a marketing, I mean, because that's the first thing these stakeholders are going to ask these guys is what's in it for me? That's what I would do if I was
Yeah,
operating the business.
yeah.
What's in it for me?
I mean, they could be doing this right now if they wanted to. right?
Of course they could.
They don't need us.
We're asking them to carry an extra burden and create a higher level of safety culture across the entirety of the year for our city, but we've got to figure out also, obviously, we all know, it's no secret to anybody in this room, the TDC is a little bit in flux right now. We're trying to hire a leader, and hopefully we're going to be able to do that soon. But we've got to get them on board as partners in this CARES program to be able to, marketing, I would think, would be a big part of the carrot that we can offer these programs, is that these are, whether it's on a website or whatever that looks like. So.
And then, like I said before, the first thing we voted on was my biggest concern in the fact that at the last meeting, staff had already prepared some stuff.
Sure.
And I wanted to make it clear, go ahead and get that out to
I think it's
stakeholders
great.
because I didn't want it to be where we're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So,
At the end of the season, we're starting from
Yeah.
scratch, as opposed to going ahead and getting going now. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so do we want to make any modifications?
Well, I would say-
So we're getting that out.
yeah, I would say I'm fine if staff wants to come back, and it shouldn't take them too long to do this, and give us an idea of what their summation is of the stakeholders for this CARE program.
Okay.
Get with police department and hash that out more definitively for us.
Well, don't we always have some standards in place as far as lighting in parking lots at these properties through our planning department? And do we not require security currently at alcohol establishments?
No, ma'am. There are lighting standards, but they are not sufficient during certain peak times of the year, and we don't require by law security personnel to be in alcohol serving establishments. I think those establishments take it upon themselves to provide that, but I'm not sure. I don't think there's a legal requirement for them to do so. That's a risk mitigation on their end.
Okay.
But this CARES program won't require them to do it either if they don't.
If they participate, as drafted, that's one of the things that we have required is additional security, similar to what the businesses inside a HIP zone are required to do. Those others would voluntarily provide that in exchange for the incentives that are provided in the CARES program.
Okay.
But security and lighting, parking and traffic management, for lodging, it's, having a 2-night or a 3-night minimum, things like that we know help alleviate safety concerns and make them where they are mitigated on property versus drawing on public resources, quite frankly.
I got it.
Okay. All right. So get the internal memo, make that available to stakeholders as staff goes with discussions as motioned. And everything else is.
And staff come back with a stakeholder list.
Okay, staff come back with a
Yes.
stakeholder list?
Can I have clarity on the outdoor mall thing? Do you want like a definition that kind of said, okay, number of parking spaces or square footage or something like that, where we draw a line? Is that what you're, because I just so I know what stakeholders to reach out to and how we're drawing that line.
Yeah, I mean, something that takes what we would obviously think of as an outdoor mall without a large outdoor mall.
Okay.
So that would hit the kind of destinations versus, no one's coming here for a strip mall. And we have some nice strip malls here, don't get me wrong, but no one's coming for the strip mall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Understood, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. There's that. We now move on to city manager report. City manager.
No report.
Okay. Council comments. Vice Mayor, do you want to start?
Skip the attorney.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't have a
Mr.
report.
Davis.
Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
Oh, well, you kind of look like.
I appreciate you guys looking out for me, though.
All right.
I feel like he's talked enough. I don't know. Vice Mayor, would you like to?
Oh, yeah, I just want to thank and offer congratulations to the schools in Panama City Beach for their achievements, and also thank General McQueen for his continued dedication to the students and children of Bay County.
Okay.
It's great.
Yes,
I
sir.
just want to make a comment, and maybe there was a reason why we didn't do this, but I had several complaints about the water outage, and coming from that field, I understand there's times you're going to have to shut the water off, but I think the way it was advertised that the pressure was going to be reduced, and the big issue that I heard was the schools. The people were, it was chaos. They were going down checking kids out of schools. If we have to do this again, is there any reason why we couldn't do it on like a Friday night and when the schools weren't going to be open the next day? I know we have to do it in the wintertime, but that's just, I couldn't answer that when somebody asked me why we didn't do it on a Friday night where the kids wouldn't have to be checked out of school when they didn't have any water. And I know it ran over longer than it was supposed to, and it usually does, but the water department and the contractor did a great job on it, and they got it back on, but it was just later than anticipated.
Yeah, I'll address that. I figured one of you were going to bring it up. That's why I didn't make a comment at the beginning of it. First of all, I'll take full responsibility for anything that went wrong. I am the city manager. I approved the task order. I signed the contract with the vendor. I gave direction to the utilities department, and I approved the press release and the information that went out to the community. So that's all on me. Yes, I could have done a better job on the language that I sent out. We've had a off briefing or an after action report meeting yesterday. Next time it will say water will be turned off instead of depressurized, because when I read it, I knew what they were saying, but as a general citizen, they probably didn't understand that. So that's on me. I should have said we are going to turn the water off. That should have been the first bold letter up top, not we're going to have a boil water notice. That should have been at the bottom. So I take the blame for that. We picked that day because that was the best time to do it. Weekends are bad. There's never a good time to turn someone's water off or to deal with the boiled water. Weekends are bad because people have family in town, or they got visitors in town, or they got something they want to do.
Right.
We went with a Monday morning because that's usually our lowest water consumption rate. We thought it was going to be done between 10 and 6, but anytime you got a project, can you put that video up for me, please, or the picture, IT? I want to just show the public what we're dealing with. It's not a small line that you have in your front yard. This is a 36-inch main. That's the hole they're inside of. Right there, they're working on an air pressure release. We had to replace 4 of our air pressure release valves because we already had one fail about 3 months ago, and it shut our whole system down. And if you could go to the next picture for me, please. This is a gate valve. We had to replace 2 of our butterfly valves. They're obsolete, they're insufficient. The problem with replacing the butterfly valves is you can't get the water completely off. That was part of the concerns with the vendor. Our subcontractor is, they couldn't get all the water out of the system in time on our second one, so the water was constantly running. They use a large saw that wraps around the whole thing, and it's a blade, and as the blade's cut in the bottom with the water splashing at the saw, it bogs it down and kills the machine, so they have to restart it. My utility department director, Mark Schaefer, he was there from the get-go at 10 o'clock. He stayed out there all night. I was talking to him from 1 o'clock in the morning on. Team A had a great team. They got it done early. Mark got on top of them. And
to be clear, Team A of the contractor.
Yeah, Team A of the contractor. This is all contractor. We did the air release valves in-house, but something like that our staff can't handle. Right. Mark got with the contractor, had them move part of their Team A down to Team B of their contractor team to try to wrap that up. But unfortunately, with anything that the city does or any large project to this scale, we have problems. We thought we had a 2-hour window. It went over. As far as the schools, as soon as I knew there was going to be an issue, I started contacting General McQueen from the superintendent, informing him what was going on, and I kept him up to date, what we were doing and where we were at in the process.
Yeah.
I wish we could have our redundancy line. That's something the council has given me permission and cold permission to go to DC with the mayor and ask for money. Neil Dunn's office has been kind enough to give us over $5 million so far for the water redundancy line. Our goal is to work with St. Joe and have our second line to run down Side Camp Road. That will tie into their main line, and that'll give us circulation. And as Mark Schaefer said in his little presentation, that we would have had that in place, and it's an $18 million project, so it's something I can't do overnight. But if we would have had that in place, we could have sectioned that area off where we're doing all the work, and we would have never had this problem.
Yeah. Mr. Whitman, I sincerely appreciate you taking responsibility. It is far too often that something happens in government and no one steps up to take responsibility, so I really appreciate that. I'll just say to the public, so obviously the communication, as you just mentioned, was insufficient.
Yes, sir.
It should have said water outage.
No water.
Basic, low pressure to me sounds like I can still take a shower. Water outage means I can't flush my toilet. And so obviously, we really appreciate you taking responsibility on that. That said, this project had to happen. Mark, you said, and if you can just come up to address this, when you did the 4 air release valves, 2 of them were about to go, is that right?
Yeah, 2 of them crumbled as they were taking them out. We had 5 originally on that line. The contractor that built it installed a galvanized section of pipe that it's 2 inches in diameter that connects to the air release valve, and our specifications required stainless steel or bronze. The first one failed over the summer, and we physically could not depressurize the line to get it back in to replace that pipe segment. We tried dropping the pressure to get an opportunity to try to get it over that flow stream, but it was a literal geyser. So we had to depressurize the line. This was a proactive maintenance activity, and we wanted to go ahead and replace all 4 of them right now while the line was depressurized. And we also did not have a lot of confidence in those butterfly valves. They do not seat entirely. So we took the opportunity, if we're going to do this, we're going to do everything we have to do while we have the system down. And so we also took the extra step of replacing those valves.
So the thinking of the city was we had 1 air pressure release valve blow that failed a couple months ago, and that caused a major outage.
Over the summer, yes, sir.
So we know those air pressure release valves are bad. So we need to, and we tried to replace the other air pressure release valves without disrupting, in a sense, actually lowering water pressure rather than cutting it off. That was insufficient, so we knew we had to take those extra 4. While we were taking those extra 4 and taking the water down anyway, we need to replace there's too many valves in this. The butterfly valves, the one with gate valves.
The giant one you saw hanging from a crane, yes, sir.
And so this couldn't have been done in stages because the water had to be out. You had to get it all done at once. Again, the city should have more clearly communicated the impact to residents, the day-to-day impact to residents.
Yes, sir.
And there was, an overage that impacted more people, a couple hours with the contractor. But if the residents were more prepared, for that. I think, it's still, we don't want contractors to go over, but they had to do a lot of work.
Yeah. I don't think there's any question as far as the quality and the hard work that everyone put into making these changes to the line. And it, like you said, it had to be done. It was going to be done. I think the only real hiccup was communication, and that's, I think everyone involved, including myself, understands that, and as someone I worked with in the past, said we'll do better.
Can I just add, Mayor, that with our new system with the automated readers, I talked to Mark yesterday, anyone that has an account with us with the new meters that are gonna be automated, he will be able to do a mass email to every water supplier, so regardless where you live in the United States or anywhere, you'll get notified that your property, your business is gonna be out of water during that time.
And possibly alert pay.
Yeah, we're gonna do
Yes.
alert pay.
Yeah.
We've already talked about that. We went over several things yesterday in our meeting, so I know I made a mistake. We're gonna fix that as a team, and we'll move forward.
I will say, I have two girls that go to Beach Elementary, and I started receiving text about this bank potentially before I even had to make plans to get them to school. I chose to take the kids to school because I was in contact with our city manager, but he was in contact with General McQueen, which he was using, and Glenda Newscagen, who was the principal there, was using mass alerts that goes to all of us as students. So we did know. I know there was some considered it chaos, but we did know the kids were not required to go to school. It would be an excused absence long before the school day started. So I do want to address that messaging did get out because of the communication with our city manager and General and Superintendent McQueen, and then it trickled all the way down. So as a parent of two students, I did have the correct information throughout the day when they felt like the water would be up.
Yeah. So, and we're working on an additional messaging infrastructure for the city just in general, in addition to the water. So there's more, there's better messaging coming. We've learned our lesson on this. I will also take responsibility. I'm signed up for our city alerts on my personal email. I saw the email. I should have flagged it when it went out to the general public. I should have flagged it as, subject line, upcoming PBWN. Doesn't exactly convey you can't flush.
My wife flagged it.
Yeah.
She's a much smarter lady than myself.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark, for the hard work. Thank you, Drew, for taking responsibility and for taking proactive action. Well, I guess it's reactive action. Action for the future to prepare.
And Mark does have some good news that he'd like to share.
Yeah, the second set of samples came back clear. We are lifting the precautionary boil water notice. We took a total of 10. The first set came back clear, but as state law requires, we take a second set 6 hours later on a successive day. Can I speak briefly about coliform bacteria and precautionary boil water notices?
Yes.
There's a lot of confusion out there.
Just to be clear, Mark, you did say speak briefly.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Not as an engineer.
No. I'm just joking. No, actually, sorry. You've had a long week. This is very important because there's a lot of confusion. I got a lot of texts and emails, so getting confused about this. So
Science moment. I apologize, people. There's a variety, a family member of the coliform bacteria family that we use as an indicator of possible contamination in a line. It's Escherichia coliform bacteria, but everybody calls it E. coli because they can't pronounce Escherichia, and I can't spell it. Anyway, we use that as an indicator, and the limit is based on how many of those coliforms are in a 100 milliliter sample of water. State standard for a swimming pool in the state of Florida can't be more than 235 coliform bacteria units in 100 milliliters of water. Gulf of Mexico averages about 70 coliform units. It goes up to about 400 after a rain event. The standard for the water system, drinking water system in the state of Florida and nationally is 0.
So we did lift the boil water notice today?
Yes, sir, we did. And the reason it is 0 is because...
Good. And I wasn't being Monday morning quarterback. I just got some complaints, and a couple people asked me why we didn't do it on the weekend, and you've answered my question on that. So, but I think it's been a learning experience for all of us. And you guys did a great job. And, and I'm glad you got those other valves replaced because we're going to be going through this again
And I'll wrap it up. The reason it's 0 is to protect the most vulnerable members in our customer base. It could be somebody that's undergoing chemotherapy, an infant getting formula, somebody just with an immune system that is compromised. So it's something that, and you see these precautionary boil water notices all the time from us. They're required by the state of Florida. We are rule followers here, and I'm sorry that we get a lot of them. We get line strikes as we're growing out here, but it's more to protect the most vulnerable member of our customer base. And so it's kind of, I know people are tired of seeing them, but understand that it targets somebody that's very sensitive to the water quality that they're drinking and using. But I just want to thank you for allowing me to explain that a little further.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
Could I ask a question here?
Sure. Yeah.
So what should residents do now that the boil notice has been lifted? Do we need to flush out our lines, throw out our ice?
Nope.
Start drinking your water.
Start drinking your water. The first
Okay.
set came back clear, but we have to double check. So we had to wait for the second set to come through.
So yeah, that's the precautionary part of the precautionary boil water notice. There's two, my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, there's 2 samples, one right away, one in 24 hours. Both of those samples have to come back 0.
Right.
And so this means that first sample came back 0, but we want to make sure that as things move through the system, as the pressure comes back, we don't find something new. So we have to take that second sample. But the fact is, both of them came back 0.
Yeah.
The water was good to drink,
All along.
to state standards all along, above state standards all along.
We took 10 samples in our system, and then we repeated the same set, 10 more the second day. And they can't be any closer than 6 hours apart. The reason the test takes so long to get results is you're actually spreading the water on a Petri dish, and then they incubate it, and they see if any bacteria grow, and they have to do that for 24 hours. So every test takes 24 hours.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you,
And,
Mark.
Good job by your team.
Yes.
The contractor, everybody did their absolute best effort. Just didn't quite work quite to
It's a
plan,
huge-
but we were close.
It's a huge project, huge.
It's a huge project, and we're operating, because we don't have the redundancy, we're operating on no margin. So, if we had redundancy, this could have been done, no one would have noticed, other than seeing some crews working on the side of the road, or maybe one neighborhood. Without redundancy, this is our main line, and so we got to take the entire thing down, so any slippage is visible. And we had to do it all at once, or we would have to take the water down multiple times.
And kudos for them being in a hole in 27-degree.
Yeah, it was cold.
It was cold.
It was cold. Okay.
It was cold.
All right.
I'm good.
Councilman, yeah, all right.
Longest council comment discussion in history. That was good.
Councilmember Coburn?
Water's important. Got to keep it running and got to keep it clean. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
I just have one thing. We'll hopefully make it quick, but I have there's a gentleman in this crowd that's come to me and approached me. He's a wonderful ambassador for our city. His name's Alfie, and he has a wonderful piece of art that he would like to potentially donate to the city. I've worked with our city manager on what that looks like and what a process looks like for that, and we have discussed potentially with approval of this board is having art displayed on a quarterly basis from local artists in City Hall. And then as that art rotates out, we put it in areas throughout, public spaces throughout our city, right? I continue to want to push an arts alliance for this beach and continue to want to do that. And I intend to continue to push for that, but this is a first step and a good thing. And Alfie's been a big proponent of wanting to make that happen. He's a huge ambassador for our city and loves this city, and it's something I'd like to see us be able to do. But I'd also like that art to be part of our presentations list on the agenda, so when that comes in on a quarterly basis, we're able to showcase those artists. And I just want to get some feedback, see what you guys think about that program and what that looks like. I think that our city spaces belong to our residents, and we have some amazing local residents and artists that can define those spaces a little better potentially than we can.
So I think it's a great program, or it's a great idea. What I would like to see kind of for next, and thank you, Alfie, for the offer. I'd like to see us develop some guidelines for how we could do this. If we offer a program to the public, it's not just artists necessarily that you or I or the public prefers that would be necessarily?
Excuse me, I guess I left out the part about using the Arts Council that we have to approve the art and kind of be that entity. to do
Okay.
that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
We already have a body in place.
oh, yeah, we do it.
Not as
The beach-
large and as effective as I want to continue to grow
do
the
have
arts
the
and
Beach Arts
culture.
Council, yeah.
And
Okay.
Well, that's based on their job description, too.
Yes.
It's very limited. They don't have the capacity.
So, that's a great comment, Councilmember Colburn. Would we just have to expand the charter for the Arts Alliance to do this?
Hold on a second. The Public Art Committee reviews and approves the display of public art. They are an oversight board.
Yeah.
Right? So they don't advocate or place art, they simply review.
They-
and make
they
sure
would
that it-
review,
that it-
yeah.
That it complies with our code as far as what public art can and cannot be. So to Mr. Register's point, we could use that Public Art Board to review and approve art to be displayed in our spaces. The Arts Alliance, as of, I believe, last time that we talked about this, the city was going to work on creating a Beach Arts Alliance that would be entirely separate from the Public Art Committee. And I know Councilman Register and I have met several times about that, and that's in the works as far as the Bay Arts Alliance would like to be involved in that. And so we've had some conversations with the Bay Arts Alliance about how that all plays out. But those are two separately and distinct things that, in my opinion, should stay separate and distinct for lots of good reasons.
Yeah, you're right. The vocabulary was kind of conjoined
Yeah, I
there.
kind of joined both of them together to.
It's all part- it's all-
Step four, it's all part of getting our residents more involved in the culture of who we are in Panama City Beach. And I think the TDC will play a big role in that as well going forward.
So, yeah, I'm fine if, maybe we draft some, I'm sorry, maybe we draft some guidelines for display, for review by the council, but, get some rules on it, and I think it's a great initiative.
Can I get a little direction on that? Talking to the council member, we envision like 2 easels in the lobby at City Hall, because we don't want it too cluttered. We'd display it quarterly, and then from there, if they want to donate the art, we would place them somewhere on a City Hall complex that the public could see. I mean, that's something we were looking at the basic just to see how it would work, but that's some kind of direction we'd look at, or we could bring you something else if that's not what you prefer.
Okay.
It's funny, this gets brought up, but when Superintendent McQueen was talking, I also thought possibly getting involved with the schools, with their art programs, especially like we do the signage on the lighting for the CRA, possibly doing something with the schools on that.
Well, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm just, sometimes it's not the best to go last. I guess we were all thinking about art, and potentially we were thinking about schools. So let's address this one at a time, though. So yeah, having the schools involved. How do we want to deal with this discussion to kind of maybe just wrap up Councilman Register's suggestion, motion or direction on that for getting a couple easels quarterly, maybe a policy in place?
How quickly?
So, yeah,
can
do we wanna-
something like that? I mean, this art's ready. I'd love to.
I mean, we have an ordinance that deals with all this.
Yeah,
So we're good.
All of this is already in
Why are
place.
we over?
Okay, so then we're good.
We have rules about who can be an artist, what an artist is,
Sweet.
what the art can be. It can't be overly commercial, it can't be offensive. There's all these, I will give you guys a copy of it,
Perfect.
and then let's go from there. How about that?
All right.
What I'm looking for is permission to put it in our lobby.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking for,
All right.
that you
I'm
guys
fine with
agreed to
that.
that. as
Yeah,
well.
I'm fine with that. Good.
And I would like to get this piece of art has been in the works and it's being framed. It's beautiful. It's a great piece of art. I'd like to get it on I'd like to go ahead and get this started sooner rather than later. I don't, like for next meeting is what I would.
I mean, I don't think we need to vote, or, I mean, I think we just did, and, that artwork goes through, I don't know if we need to put it in writing, or we've already kind of determined that that's, the art that's displayed here and then if it's donated going into public buildings, must first pass through the.
Public Arts Committee.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't need a vote, I just need a direction. I think I have it from the majority of you, that you're fine with that.
All right.
Yeah.
Is everyone good with putting art in the lobby?
I'm fine.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Great.
And eventually it moving through City Hall and space,
Yeah.
public
Yes,
spaces
yes.
in our community.
Wherever it goes. We'll
Yes.
take care of that after it runs through
Okay.
the lobby.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Can I ask one question? I know you wanted to do it next meeting. Is the art already completed by the artist that Elfie wants to?
Can he speak, or can we?
That's up to the.
Hey, I mean, is it completed?
Because it would still have to go through the art alliance and everything
Yeah,
else.
still
so I
have
don't
to go
want
out
to
the
commit to
Art
next
Alliance,
meeting and I
yeah.
can't make.
I mean, honestly, I want to take a look at it too before, if it's going to be our inaugural artwork, so,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, all right,
Yeah, I'm fine with it. It just goes through the process.
yeah.
I'll get it to you as soon as possible.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
fantastic. We'll go from there.
All right. Anything else?
That's
No, that's it. Thank you for the support.
Yeah.
That's great.
Alfie, if you want to come up and speak about your artwork briefly?
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't put W40 on my knees. Good morning. The art is ready. It has a certificate of authenticity. It's done by a local artist. It's donated by Teatro de las Artes. And addressing the schools, I'm going to talk to Mark because we're going to do a mural.
Hey, Can you just talk about the?
Yeah,
the
but
art-
this one
artwork?
is ready to go, is framed. I have a picture and a certificate. I can show you the picture, and or I can bring it next week. But it's a 3 by 4 feet piece of art. It's, oil on canvas, a very expensive thing, but we are donating it, and really we are simulating, and we want the artists to get involved. We want you to get involved, and we need to do a lot of things. So that's why we thought it would be donating this piece of art would be great to start a trend and get everybody involved. So with your permission, we are ready to roll, and whatever papers need to be signed to release responsibilities and permits and whatever will state that it's donated.
Well, thank you for the generosity. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank
Thanks,
you.
Alfie.
Thanks.
All right,
Thank
all right. So speaking of art, and speaking of schools, so we have the America 250 celebration coming up on July 4th. I've talked to a number of the beach principals, and they would be and also the Optimist Club, and they would be interested in doing a art competition for patriotic art to be displayed potentially in this new initiative, Cycling Through, but also at, Aaron Besant during the July 4th celebration. Optimist has agreed to do a $500 savings bond for some of the winners. That's $500 total, not for each winner. And I'm sure through other private donations we could find to get that up a little bit more. So the idea we talked about with the schools is each school, maybe 2 for BPA because they have elementary and middle. Each school would each school art group or art class would submit art. It would be judged by the Optimist Club. It would be displayed at July 4th and then potentially rotate through. And then the winners would get, do Art for America, Invest in America, so they'd be getting savings bond. So.
I love it. Great idea.
Good idea.
Great
Yep.
idea.
Yeah, and
What
I'm
direction do you need?
yeah.
I'm assuming that also goes to the Public Art Committee?
If that's the process, that's the process.
Coming up here, it would have to. If it makes it to the lobby, it'd have to go through the committee.
Yeah, if it makes it, it would be for Aaron Besant, yeah.
Public art is public art.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
lobby or not.
yeah, so the winners that would be displayed, Optimist would pick the winners because they're pulling the money, but whatever gets displayed would have to go through the Public Art Committee. That makes sense. And so the proposed theme for that is, just to give the kids something to focus on, is America, past, present, and future.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
All right, and
Great.
sincerely thank these schools, General McQueen, for being in support, and sincerely thank Optimist for providing the funds for that as well. I have one more thing, a little bit less fun, but it's become an issue. I'm seeing these e-bikes on sidewalks going extremely fast. I was down Middle Beach, it was in the evening, and I saw someone just speeding down a sidewalk, beeping at someone who was walking on the sidewalk. They were just going way too fast. So with council's approval, I'd like to give direction to staff on getting some guidance, or, developing some legislation on how, I know there are different categories of e-bikes.
About a speed limit on them. That's one thing. 'cause
Yeah, well,
some
that's
of them run
that's
50
like,
miles an hour down the sidewalk.
yeah, so there's like different categories.
And I don't know how the chief feels about policing it, but they fall under the same guideline as a bicycle, or can they run 50 miles an hour down the sidewalk? Yeah, we're starting to have more and more problem with those cutting through parking lots, Walmart, Publix, just zigzagging through patrons. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely in favor of staff coming back with us on something to
Regulate
deal with it.
Regulate e-bikes on sidewalks.
Absolutely.
Staff to develop something that
address
can, address
Well, so
e-bikes
we're
on
going to
sidewalks.
put them on the road and put a speed limit on them? Is that how we do it, or they're not supposed to be on the sidewalk, number one, right now, right?
They have the
can't.
right to be on the sidewalk.
They have the
Yeah,
right.
they have a right.
Yeah,
We-
unless,
Because they're treated as a bicycle, not a motorized.
Yeah,
I didn't think bicycles were supposed to be on the sidewalk.
Yeah, they're allowed to be on the sidewalk. There's a law in place that this city municipality can create a law to get them off the sidewalks if they're a certain speed, and then they would have to follow the rule of the law on the roadway and the bike.
So if we put a speed limit on them, then maybe we could get them off the sidewalk.
Can we
We can bring-
potentially reach out to other municipalities that have had success in regulating e-bikes and maybe go from there?
Yeah, if you give us the direction to research it and bring something back, that's what we would do.
Okay.
yeah,
So be it.
yep, yeah, and that was a proposal, was to research it, bring us something back, specifically for addressing them. I don't want to make this thing huge.
And
Start
it's
on sidewalks.
The
'cause
little scooters too, it's not just e-bikes, those scooters are running around everywhere, the electric.
Quasi motorized vehicles.
Was it is it not self-propelled? What's the
Micro-mobility device.
micro-mobility? Mark, did you want to say something?
We're getting a lot of complaints about the conservation park too. Could you expand the scope of that to include more?
The grant doesn't allow me to do that.
What's that?
The grant won't allow me to do that unless he can find something. But when we received the grant, we were allowed bicycles out there and motorized bicycles. But
Okay.
that's something we can look into as well.
We can address it afterwards, ma'am.
So,
Ma'am, we can address it, afterwards. Ma'am, I appreciate it, but we can address it afterwards. Okay, e-bikes on sidewalks.
Yes, sir.
Or
We'll bring it back.
micro-mobility on sidewalks, okay. All right, thank you.
all right.
All right, that's it. I will see you for the State of the City on March 10th at 6 PM at City Hall. That's Tuesday.
Thank you.